to my channel. If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. This channel is designed to help new and potential business owners on the road to a successful journey. So if you feel like this is your current path, then stick around and watch the rest of the video. Okay, so you started a business, you're excited, you're overwhelmed, you're all pumped up, you got your inventory, you have your marketing materials like your business cards, your flyers, and all of that good stuff. You've created your website, you have everything all mapped out, ready to go, right? And then you're thinking, well, how am I going to pay myself? How am I going to keep up with all these expenses? And I have to keep purchasing items for my clothing store, like hang tags, fasteners for my tag gun, pins. Then I have to meet with my accountant and they're going to charge me a fee, bank service charges. Then if I want to do a pop-up, I'm going to have to pay the vendor fee. How am I going to keep track of all of this? You come to the right place. Only one word: budget. Yes, a budget applies to your personal life as well as your business. We're just gonna jump right into it. So for the budget, you have to create a little list, and you can make sure you include everything that you can think of, from website, advertisements, even if it's free, include it all. That way you know for sure you're not leaving anything out. This could include, if you're a brick and mortar, you can include your utilities. Even if you're the only employee or if you have other employees, you can create this budget and you can tweak it to how it actually fits just for you. Okay. So the list can include utilities, rent, your phone, fax, internet, if you need all of that. If you have to pay insurance, this could be, if you're brick and mortar, then you would have to have like fire, liability. I also mentioned this in my video of the 4 key steps to starting a business, and I'll leave that in the description box, as well as you can just click on the link up here. But after you watch this video, okay, office supplies and postage, if you have to purchase poly mailers, but again, that option you can use USPS, because you know I gave you a couple of my secrets in the last video, and I have that one linked in the description box down below as well. So be sure to add in the bank service charges. Sometimes, depending on who you bank with, whether it's credit union or any bank, they might charge a certain fee just for opening an account, and you want to make sure that you include everything so you're not leaving anything out, okay? Okay. If you have a brick and mortar store, for devil's advocate, you want to make sure you have repairs and maintenance included, and equipment purchases, and last but not least, miscellaneous. And miscellaneous can fall into whatever you think would not fit in the other mentioned categories. So down below, I'll link a free budget checklist, so tweak it so it'll fit exactly what you are going to need it for. When creating the budget, after you've already written down of everything that you can think of, it's important to sort the budget from priority to less important. The reason being is you want to make sure that at the end of the month, or however you decide to gather your funds, that the priority is taken care of, so you won't have to actually come out of your pocket. So the budget is going to be very, very helpful, because I personally use it for myself. The whole purpose of creating a budget is to make sure that the funds that you are receiving from your customers is being distributed to each need of your business. So I'm gonna go over a budget that I created just purposely for this video, so you'll kind of get an example of how it would actually work for you. So let's get into it. Again, make sure you have everything sorted from priority to less important, taking care of that first. Let's just say we profited $800 in our business for the month. We created an outline of inventory, vendor events, our fees dealing with our license, insurance, or etc. And if you want to elaborate, you can. That way you know exactly which fee is going to be taken care of. Our repairs and maintenance, if you have brick and mortar, you can have that above the pop-ups, because that would be a necessity to take care of, because you don't want to have anything leaking in the bathrooms or whatever. We want to make sure that's at the top of the list. Office supplies and postage, if you have to take care of online orders, If you need to make sure you have pens, sticky notes, notepads. This could also mean for like register tape, or if you need ink for your printer. All of the office supplies, make sure you leave a detailed description so you know that this is what's going to have to be taken care of at the end of the month. Accounting and legal fees, that can be also bumped up as a priority, because depending on how often you have to file your taxes, or you need your accountant to actually look over your books, if it's quarterly, annually, monthly, you have to make sure that you have that taken care of as well, because that is important, especially in a business. Okay? Don't talk about my coins. Next, your website and advertisements. Your website has to be paid monthly, otherwise your website is not going to be accessible. Okay, so you have to make sure you have that included. You want to move that up to the priority chain, or if you want to keep it low, that's up to you, but that has to be included. Miscellaneous, that could include bank service charges, income tax, because remember, you have to factor that in at the beginning of the year when it's time for Uncle Sam to get his money. Personal payments could also mean that you had to actually dip into your own pocket to take care of something for your business, so you'll be able to reimburse yourself. So you also could add that in there as well. That's up to you, but that's why it's in the category of miscellaneous. Also, if you don't even use the services, you can still just keep that money for the following month. So say January, you didn't need an accountant, so whatever percentage you made from January, you can roll that over to February. So if you have to speak with your accountant quarterly, then you can just roll it over until it's time, and then it'll just accumulate. And last but not least, yourself. So you can determine how much you want to pay yourself. If you're just starting out, I wouldn't want to pay myself 75%, because why would you want to do that? Why? Oh, okay. No, we're not going to do that. We don't want to pay ourselves 75%. So let's just be realistic. Okay? Okay. And you can just create whatever category you want that applies specifically for you. I'm just giving an example so you'll be able to say, oh, I see here. I'm going to also leave an example of this down in the description box so you'll be able to download it. And then you'll be able to actually plug in your own categories and come up with your own percentages. That way you'll be able to figure out what actually works for you. Okay? So let's say for inventory, remember we made $800 for the month that we're trying to create a budget for. So for inventory, we're going to say 20% of that $800 is going to go into our inventory stash. So that means $160 from the $800 is going to the inventory. So what that means, all the money that you received for the month is going back into your business. That prevents you from actually dipping into your actual paycheck to fund your business. Now, if you want to, that's up to you, but at least a majority of it is already covered because your customers' money is funding your business. That's how a business should be, right? I guess. Moving on. Say you want to participate in a vendor event. Usually vendor events cost, so you want to make sure that you're not actually dipping into your personal funds again, because this is for your business. So your business should be able to fund your business. So let's say 25% of the $800 that we made for the month is going back into your vendor category. That means $200 of the $800. So right now we have a separate stash for inventory, a separate stash for the vendor event. Next we have our fees and insurance. So 15% of the $800 is going to be $120. Then we have the repairs and the maintenance. 5% of the $800 is going to be $40. So at the end of us pulling, the $160 and the $200 and the $40 and blase, all of it should equal up to the total amount that we made for the month. So we should not be short, we should not be over, it should be balanced. Moving on to the office supplies and postage, 5%, so another $40 of the $800. Then we have the accounting and the legal would be 15%, so that's $120 of the $800. Next we have our lovely website and our advertisements, which is 5%, so $40. And then we had the miscellaneous. Again, that was the bank service charges, the personal payment, and our income tax. And we had that as 5%, which totals up to $40. And then, for all of this hard work we did, we have to pay ourselves. So, we're going to pay ourselves only 5%. And that leaves us with $40. Beautiful. Again, you can tweak it to however you want it. Just make sure that everything is realistic, okay? You don't want to sit there and end up having to dip into the other stashes of your business because you want it to be selfish and pay yourself 80% of the $800. Where they do that at, boo? Don't do that. No. At the end of the day, just make sure that you have a budget and you stick to the budget. You don't want to go over, you don't want to be under, you want to make sure that it works for you. Well, that's all I have for you today. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, I'll talk back, and see you in my next video. Bye, y'all.